Hey YouTube, it's your girl Jimmy Pink, and I don't even know where to start. Because for the most part, I usually do like rant videos for the most part. But today we suffered a tragic loss. Prince, or his real name, Prince Rogers Nelson, passed away today at the age of 57. And the reason why I'm doing this video, because obviously if you're subscribed to my channel or you've watched any of my videos, I would say other than RuPaul's Drag Race, but even RuPaul's Drag Race, because it kind of coincides. Like, I have such a deep love and appreciation for music and movies, obviously, and just pop culture as a whole, because I grew up in the era where it was in your face. I'm, first generation MTV. When MTV premiered, I was 3 years old. So the first thing I want to say is, because we've had a lot of people pass away and that I was fans of, that I didn't do videos about. I didn't do a specific Michael Jackson video. I reviewed like the tributes on the award shows. I didn't do one for David Bowie, who I love. These are people that I have on t-shirts. These are people that I've had their music. But Prince is a little bit different for me. And I'm going to try not to tear up. And I know it sounds corny. People be like, well, that's somebody that you didn't even know for you to be emotional. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I want to express what kind of an impact Prince has had on my life, and why this loss for me is a little bit more difficult than some of the other celebrities. First, if you are a subscriber, if you watch any of my videos, I talk about my sister a lot. I have a sister that's 8 years older than me, that it was and is a second mother to me, because my parents had to work afternoon shifts, so a lot of responsibilities fell on her. Okay? And my sister is probably one of the, if not the biggest Prince fans that you will ever meet in your life. What I mean by that is to say this. Again, it's an 8-year age gap. So we're sharing a bedroom. Okay, and excuse me. So we share a bedroom. And when you're 8 years old, I've talked about Jem and the Holograms. I had all Jem and the Hologram stuff, but I never had a kid's bedroom because I had to share it with a teenage sister that was 8 years older than me. So what she wanted in the room goes, and I grew up in a bedroom that was literally covered from ceiling to floor in Prince. So that is what I went to sleep with and woke up with every day, literally. One of the stories was there's an iconic poster of Prince in the shower. And my sister had it hanging above her wall, above her bed. Now that we're older now, we know why people have posters above their bed, but that's not, why. It was just literally, she had so much Prince, from Jet, Ebony, I don't think Word Up might have had Prince, but all the magazines of the day, actual posters that she bought, albums. We actually had the Purple Rain single. This is the purple tape before the purple tape, because this was a purple record. It was the most pretty color purple that in my mind is burnt. I know exactly what color purple that is, because that was the prettiest, most beautiful color purple I'd ever seen in my life. And the wax on the record of the single was Purple Rain, and people weren't doing that then. But she had that poster, and I was scared of it as a kid, and my sister did not speak to me for maybe a week or two, because my mother made her take that poster down. She was that mad. But I'm saying that to say this. when I say Prince was in my home, Prince was in my home. And my sister had a huge, huge influence on me in every aspect of life, but especially musically. Like, even when I was a kid, she was the one that said I was going to be a rapper. I was a nerd. I wasn't even thinking about no stuff like that. I was still trying to be a scientist and an engineer. And I'm talking about, yes, at that young, 6, 7, 8 years old. I wasn't even thinking about nothing like that. So she had a huge influence on me musically. And with her being that big of a Prince fan, and literally me going to sleep and waking up with Prince every day, the first R-rated movie I ever seen was Purple Rain. Because when you're a mother and you have a daughter that's begging you to go see this movie, and if that came out, I believe, 84, so I was 6 years old going to go see Purple Rain. Now, keep it 100, does a 6-year-old have any business going to the movie theater to see Purple Rain? No. But what do? You can't take one kid and not the other, and my sister wanted to see it. So that was the first R-rated movie I seen. It is, to me, still the best movie soundtrack of all time. He was such a huge influence on me. I mean, my grandmother passed away, and she had a huge collection of albums and records, and basically they were left to... She didn't have a will, so they weren't left to us, but when they were cleaning up the house, who they gave the records and the albums to were me and my sister. And as big of a Prince fan as my sister is, my grandmother had the album Controversy by Prince. But my sister knew that I loved that album so much, even though she was the huge Prince fan, I'm the one that got the Prince Controversy album. Like, I'm a fan of, I still have collections of downloads of all of the Minneapolis Paisley Park acts. Prince is responsible for bringing us Morris Day and the Time, Sheila E. He worked with Sheena Easton. He wrote Manic Monday by the Bangles. Like, he was the first artist to have the #1 film, album, and single in the country. He was the first person to do it, I believe, since the Beatles. Or he might have been the first altogether. I would have to double check that. But still, it's huge. And keep in mind, I don't care how pale he is, he's a black artist. So that's huge. Such a great talent. Like, he plays, mastered like 30 plus instruments. He plays like 110, mastered like 30 plus. People don't give him the credit that he's due as a guitarist. You know, because he does so much other stuff and that gets lost in the shuffle. But he is one of the greatest guitarists. Like, yeah, we can talk about B.B. King and Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan, but for real, Prince is right up there. It's just that he does everything else so well that people forget about him as a guitarist. He's an excellent guitarist. He's definitely one of the greatest guitarists of all time. A lot of people, you know, the controversy of when he became the artist formerly known as Prince, or the symbol, not knowing that what he was doing was standing up for artist rights when he did that. He was like, this is what I want to do, and if you're not going to go with me as an artist, then you can't have the name Prince. So if I can't release albums as Prince, I'm going to still release albums. It's just not going to be as Prince, and I'm going to I'm going to release them on my own. Like, we talk about stuff like this, like Jay-Z launching Tidal and Beyonce dropping an album without nobody knowing, but the person that was the first person to do like one of these outlandish things like that to promote their albums so that they can have their artistic freedom was Prince. He had a style like nobody else's. I don't want to say I'm getting into superficial stuff. What I'm getting into is just stuff that I know about Prince. I've never seen a man or a female that can rock any hairstyle like him. That man could wear any hairstyle. He was an attractive little man. Such a petite little man. But just an icon. And it's really starting to make me think about him especially. When anybody passes away, it makes you think about your own mortality. But think of it like this. And I usually don't put myself out there like that, but fuck it. I'll be 38 in 2 weeks. So when I take that into account, into account and say that I'm not even 40 yet. And I have lost literal icons from when I was a kid. Mike gone. Michael Jackson gone. Whitney Houston gone. Now Prince is gone. David Bowie is gone. Even though he was of my era, he didn't start of my era, but he was in my era. We have rappers passing away. Guru is gone. Fight from a Tribe Called Quest is gone. Jay Dilla, producer, gone. You know, like, and there are some other people that I'm not mentioning because I'm really just doing this video off my head, and I'm in a space right now about this that I didn't think that I can get to, because I will be honest, like, I cried when Tupac died because my sister is also a huge Tupac fan. I really basically cried for her because I knew how she was going to feel about that. Obviously, I cried when Michael Jackson died. I cried when Whitney Houston died. Like, because these are pieces of my childhood that I feel like are being ripped away from me. It's very hard when people die young, or younger than you think that they would. Like, I was talking to my mother about it today, and I'm like, but you got icons from your era that are still here. Aretha Franklin still living. Patti LaBelle still alive. You know what I mean? But I am literally almost 30 years younger than my mother, and my icons is going left and right. 57 years old. 57 years old. And the shock about Prince is that with Whitney Houston, we knew she had drug issues. Michael Jackson, we knew he had issues. Like, even Robin Williams, like, people knew he had issues with alcohol and depression because he spoke about it. We didn't know anything. Or if anything, I haven't even brought myself to read the article yet because I actually work midnights now. So my sleeping habits are a lot different. So I didn't even find out Prince passed away till 5 o'clock this afternoon when I was getting dressed to take my niece to a cheerleading meeting at 6. So I haven't even gotten a chance to get into what happened yet. But yes, was Michael Jackson unexpected, and Fight from Tribe Called Quest and David Bowie? Yes, but we all knew issues. We knew Fife was sick. We knew David Bowie was sick. Like, well, I guess we didn't know David Bowie was sick. It came out after the fact. But it still wasn't as much of a shock because we knew the lifestyle that he lived prior to. Like, you got people like Ozzy Osbourne and Keith Richards that you like, how? But Prince, who literally basically still looked the same age he did when he came out, was in excellent shape, always seemed to take care of himself, was never in the tabloids for no crazy shit, didn't drink, didn't smoke, to drop dead at 57. That's a shock. Especially because he was such a huge part of my childhood personally. And I think he's underrated. I mean, people are saying like he's an icon. But I think that he's underrated as a musician because he's one of, if not the greatest musician since Beethoven. Like, people forget that, like, on his albums, he doing all that. Like, yeah, you have Prince in the Revolution. He might have some people singing backup or some certain things like that. But a lot of the times, that's all him. Like, and he was such a creative force that we probably haven't even heard 10% of Prince's music because he lived it. That's what he did. He loved it. I do know that he died in the studio. He lived it. He loved it. So this one was just heavy on me. And again, trying not to tear up, but this one has hit me the hardest out of a lot of the celebrity deaths in recent years, just because it's tangible to me. Like, even though I didn't know him personally, I feel like I grew up with him because I was just surrounded by him. Like, I was introduced to his music at a very early age. I was still listening to his music. My dad is also a musician. He's retired, and what he's done with his retirement, I guess when he was younger, but like before his kids came along, he used to be in a band. He's in a band now. They play Prince. Like, my dad loves music. My sister loves. We're a musical family. My mom is tone deaf, but that's besides the point. We're a musical family, so music is a huge part of all of our lives, and we're all Prince fans. But I'm saying from, the time that me and my sister was old enough to share a room that I wasn't... Actually, I think I've always shared a room with my sister. I'm just going to keep it 100 because I think she told me, before my recollection of memory, like even when I was a baby, she said, you would get hungry and you would come to me. So... it really pains me to have to say the Prince is dead. The Prince passed on. Like, that isn't a shock. That's a shock in a way. Like, that's a shock in a way. And like I said, these is icons of the 80s. These is icons of my childhood. Are just leaving, like, for me personally. And there's other people in the 80s, don't get me wrong, like your New Wave and your One Hit Wonder, but I'm talking about superstars. I don't have nobody left but Madonna. Everybody has, like, people that they are fans of, and everybody has, people that they are super fans of, and especially if you are somebody that's really into music. But as far as an artist, an all-around artist, it is kind of crazy because I'm going to actually compare him to David Bowie a little bit because of the androgynousness, because of the showmanship, because of the pure craft of, yes, you are doing music, but everything is part of your art. Like, he was our generation's David Bowie. Like, when you guys, if you're older and you're watching this, but when David Bowie was doing, like, his Ziggy Stardust things in, I believe, the late 60s, early 70s, I could be wrong on that, because, again, I'm going off the top of the head, not research. But, we had Prince for that. Like I said, I like David Bowie. Like, Let's Dance is one of my favorite songs. Like, I had to go back in my older age and go back and do, like, the whole David Bowie catalog. But he was, around in the 80s, too. But who I grew up with, who my icon was that did that, was Prince. Just like I'm sure my niece now, who will be 18 years old this year, when this happens for her, that's going to be Lady Gaga. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have that person that is just, for lack of a better word, them as themselves is just an art installation. Like, everything they do just exudes artism. Is that the right word? Artistic value. Artisticness. And that was Prince, man. Like, he put his all into everything. Like, and you may not have liked everything, but you had to appreciate that he wrote all of his own music. He wrote all of his own music. And he was very protective of it, which you can understand because you did everything yourself. I mean, you arranged, wrote. I don't even think he has a co-writing credit with nobody. Like, I think he wrote all of his stuff. He was just an amazing talent. And he's going to really be sorely missed. And I just can't believe we burying another one. Like, it's insanity. It's insanity. Like, I cannot believe of all of the artists that would pass away early. I would have expected Michael Jackson to go before Prince. But not like this. I didn't expect Mike to go that early, and I certainly didn't expect Prince to go this early. Like, we haven't even gotten a chance to give Prince a Lifetime Achievement Award because he was still achieving stuff. He was still doing music. He was still putting out albums. And I'm talking about like every year. He was still doing shows like I don't know. This is probably already too long to begin with. And it just hurts my heart. So rest in peace, Prince Rogers Nelson. You will be sorely missed. And there'll never be another one. Salute.